I'm Pascal Monreal, founder of NoSnake. And let me guess, if you're here, it's because you're looking for a place to sell your courses or online trainings. But I know exactly how you're feeling right now. You're overwhelmed by the doubts and uncertainties that come from not knowing how to make it happen. And for that very reason, I know that if you're watching this video, it's because you have a skill and you want to show it to the whole world. But you're thinking about things like, where should I set up my landing page? And will I be able to customize my logo and my brand colors? And you're probably also wondering, how do I upload and organize my videos and attach the corresponding files and explanations? How do I set up and configure my plans, create my memberships, and get paid for them? Well, don't worry, because all these problems are solved by a platform like NoSnake. And today I'm going to show you the power of our Academy or course editor, which allows you to easily set up and connect all those things that have been running through your mind, taking a significant weight off your shoulders so you can focus on what you really need to focus on, which is content creation, and leave the technical stuff to platforms like NoSnake. So let's get to it. And as I already explained to you in the previous video, which you'll find linked in the video description, the first thing I'm going to show you is what a fully configured landing page would look like. In this case, I've created a fictional fitness academy called Urban Estania. And as you can see, it has its branding, color palette, logo, navigation bar to the different sections, login, courses, a description of who is behind it, and if we keep scrolling down, its plans and already configured social media links. As you can see, we've paid attention to even the smallest detail. And now let's see how to edit all of this, and for that we go to the NoSnake editor page. The first thing we're going to do is focus on the title and the logo. To change the logo or add our own, we just have to click here in the spot where the logo is located, and as you can see, we can select what type of logo we want to add, which will depend on the type of logo you have created. And that's why at NoSnake we've considered the different types of logos that content creators usually use. That's why we let you choose between a circular, square, or rectangular logo. When you select the different types of logos, you can see how your logo will look in real time. As you can see, since it's a circular logo, it doesn't fit well within the square and rectangular formats. And if we click here on Select File, we'll be able to choose the logo we've created from our own computer files and upload it directly to the platform. And finally, all we have to do is click Save. Now let's focus on editing the Academy name, title, subtitle, and indicators. As you can see, just by clicking on it, it already allows us to enter and edit the name. And once that's done, it automatically saves itself. In the case of the indicators, we're going to delete the constancy indicator by clicking here on the X. And to create the same or a new indicator, we just have to click the Add Indicator button. And once inside, we choose the icon. In this case, we select the clock because we're going to choose the constancy indicator again. And to name it, we click where it says indicator text and enter whatever name we want. In this case, we type constancy again. And we simply click add. And as you can see, it now appears once again right here on the landing page. Now, if we scroll down further and want to add our specific video, we simply click on this button here to change the video, enter our full URL, click Save Video, and immediately the video we've chosen will appear here in the player, fully loaded and ready for you to hit play. And now, if we navigate up to the very top section of the page, we can see that there is a specific button labeled Customize. And once we click on it, a comprehensive site editor panel opens up, where we can easily edit absolutely everything related to our unique branding. And the best thing about the NoSnake Academy editor is that all the changes you make will be applied in real time on the landing page. The first thing we see at the top are the navigation menus to the different sections. And the sections we have cover things like everything related to choosing and combining colors, being able to change the shape of the buttons, the twist, which is used to change the design style of the top block, as we'll see in a moment. The typography, to change the font, the trust section, which is basically to decide whether or not we want trust indicators to appear on the landing page, and the section titles, to decide where we want them to appear. aligned to the left or centered, or to change their names. And now let's take a closer look at them. The first thing we've prepared is a color palette inspired by different movies. To give you an example, if we select the Matrix palette, we can see how our landing page adopts the movie's color scheme. And the same thing happens with the Mad Max palette. And if we want to set up our own, here in brand colors, we can choose the primary and secondary colors to match our branding. In this case, for Urbanistenia, we've gone with red and black. But just to give you an example, let's choose yellow as the primary color, and for the secondary color, if we don't like any of the default options shown here, we just have to click on the color box and an RGB color editor will pop up so we can pick whichever one we want. In this case, we're going to choose black. And now we can see how automatically and in real time, our branding has yellow as the primary color and the black we chose as the secondary color. As you can see, especially in the case of the secondary color, in the gradient of the buttons. But I'll set it back to red and black as we had it before. And now, if we continue, down here we can also edit the color gradient generated by the secondary color. As you can see, when we move it, we can see how the intensity changes. If we keep scrolling down, we can also see that we can change the background color of the screen, allowing us to choose whether we want our landing page to appear with a light or dark background, that is, a light or dark interface. If we continue, we move on to typography, where we will be able to change our font type. Right now we have it set to Montserrat, but by clicking on the drop-down and changing the font, we can see in real time how the different fonts change. So we can choose the one we feel most identified with. In this case, for now in Urbanistenia, I will continue to leave it set to Montserrat. If we continue, as I mentioned before, we can change the style of the buttons, being able to choose whether we want them rounded, square, or in pill format. And now we come to an interesting part, which refers to the design of the hero section, which is our first block at the top, where we can choose between split, centered, or full screen. In this case, just to change things up, I'm going to leave it in a format that I really like, which is the split format. If we continue, we have the indicator section, where we can choose whether we want them to appear or be hidden on the landing page, as we mentioned. We can also choose the alignment of the titles. That is, if we want the titles of the different sections to appear left-aligned or centered, as you can see. In this case, we're going to leave it centered, so you can see something different. And if we continue, we also see that we can edit the names of the different sections. If we click here on training, we can change the name to courses, classes, masterclasses, or tutorials. In this case, I'm going to leave it as courses for a change. And within the Get to Know Me section, we can choose for the section to be called About Me, Your Instructor, or Who I Am. In this case, we'll leave it as Who I Am. And now, if we go to the membership section, we can choose between plans, pricing, and access. We change it to plans. And the last thing we have to do is click Save Changes, and our branding is now set up. Well, once we've closed our branding editor, if we go to the preview, we can start to see some of the changes we've made, such as the new hero format, displaying the landing page content centered, and the new titles we've chosen for naming the different sections. Returning to the editor, let's now focus on the About Me section. As you can see, we can choose between the creator and description modes. The creator mode is for someone who wants to create an autobiographical section where we talk about ourselves, where we come from, and our personal experience and background. On the other hand, the description mode is specifically crafted and designed for those individuals who want to focus much more on talking about their unique brand, their philosophy, or the specific objectives of the training they offer. You just have to carefully select and then fill in the one that best matches your own brand identity. And as you can see here, you have a dedicated section to upload an image, enter your full name, and write down absolutely anything that you might want to share about yourself or your brand. And now we move on to something very interesting, which is the incorporation of an AI filter to neutralize hype and those who sell empty promises. In other words, It filters out these kinds of people so they don't reach this platform and start posting their typical unrealistic phrases, such as the secret method to get rich or learn to play the piano in 24 hours. You should not worry, because this is a highly persuasive filter specifically designed to prevent these particular types of creators from even trying to set something up within the NoSnake platform. So, by simply making sure that you are not promising wealth, luxury, eternal life, or other things like that in your courses, your content will be accepted, and just by being on this platform, you will gain a very specific and positive reputation for it. To pass the filter, you just have to click the Validate with AI button, and you'll see that you'll immediately get the green light and approval to continue. And now we move on to the courses section. As you can see, we already have 4 courses created. But so you can see how it works, we're going to create 2 more courses. On one hand, the first option is going to be a membership, and on the other, the second one will be offered as a direct sale course. However, before we dive into that, I'm going to show you what the internal editing page of a course actually looks like in practice once we've created it. And for that, we simply click right here on the button that says Edit Content. This is the exact page your students will see when they click on your courses, once it is completely finished and fully edited and ready to go. And as you can clearly see right here, we have the logo and the specific course name. Located just below the video player, you can easily add the direct link to the particular video you want to include for them. Located directly above the video player, you can modify its specific duration, and it will be automatically updated and displayed below the name of your lesson here in the sidebar. If we keep scrolling down the page, we can see that in the lesson, your students will be able to easily mark the lesson as completed, or quickly navigate to the previous or next lesson. Then we have a dedicated section right here to input and customize the full description of your lesson. And you can also upload and include supplementary files, in case you want to provide your students with extra learning resources and materials. And finally, there is one more interesting feature to note. Here, where it says questions about this lesson, you can include direct links to your relevant social channels. So your students can easily contact you through the specific means you have established for addressing and resolving any questions they might have. By clicking on Configure, we see that we can choose between Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, and email, although I am open to more requests. And now, let's focus carefully on our sidebar. As you can see, when you hover over it, it expands, which easily allows your students to see the full and complete names of the modules and lessons. And now, taking advantage of the fact that we already have a module created, we can clearly see that besides simply viewing its duration, there are 3 distinct icons located right here. The first one is used to edit the module, the second allows you to delete it, and the third one is to add a new lesson. As we can see in the interface, when we click on the Add button, a drop-down menu opens up where we can enter the specific title of the lesson. In this case, we will enter Lesson 2, and immediately we can see exactly how a new lesson is added to the list. And if we click on Delete, it disappears. And now, if we focus on the lessons, one really interesting feature they have is the ability to schedule them. If we click on the small padlock icon, we'll see how the 3 scheduling models that are currently available for us to use are displayed. The first of these is the days after option, which specifically means that from the moment the student first accesses this course, this lesson will be unlocked after the number of days we specify from the student's initial enrollment date. The second scheduling model provides the capability for us to configure a lesson to be available on a specific date and time. And finally, we have the secret code option, which allows us to set a unique password or secret code to successfully unlock and gain full access to this lesson once we provide it. And lastly, if you want to completely revert all of the modifications you have made and make the lesson available again, we have the option to choose the option to select immediate availability once again. And if we continue, finally, we have the option to create a new module, which works exactly the same as creating a lesson, as we have already seen. And finally, the last interesting thing about this particular lesson is that our students will also have the convenient option simply by clicking on this arrow right here to completely hide the drop-down menu and focus entirely on the lesson content. And now, if we go back to our main course page and click the preview button at the top, we can see that your students, besides being able to comfortably navigate between the different courses you offer by clicking these side arrows here, have two distinct and useful options available to them: description and syllabus. The syllabus section will show your prospective students a comprehensive index of all the individual lessons and courses you have carefully set up. And the description section is the particularly interesting one that we should look at next. This is where you'll have the opportunity to write a description of the course you offer to create engagement. And as you can see, we have an AI filter in charge of monitoring and supervising the content that gets published. But don't worry, it's persuasive. And as long as you don't claim that your students will get rich, earn €1 million in 30 days, or achieve eternal life, you won't have any problems with it. It's only designed to scare off and ban this type of creator from the platform. So you just have to click validate and automatically your course will be approved. And at the top of the courses on the right, you'll see that if they are approved, it means they will be public and visible to your students once you finish setting up your academy. And now, to finish, I mentioned that we were going to create 2 new courses. One to include in a membership and another to sell directly outside of a membership. But since the process for creating a course is always the same, what I'm going to do is delete one of the ones I already have and recreate it. So let's delete the handstand course, which would be included in a future membership along with the Master Lab and From Labour courses. Therefore, we click on the trash can icon, delete it, and confirm that we want to remove it. To create a new course, we click here on the icon that says New Course. And as you can see, a new course is created next to the last one we made, which in this case is the masterclass. For example, we might want to sell this masterclass directly outside of the membership by giving it a one-time price. And as you can clearly see right here, the new course that has just been created currently appears as pending because obviously we haven't yet specifically validated the course description with our AI filter. So the very first thing we're going to do is upload a new image to it. To do this, simply start by clicking on the Add Image button. It will allow us to set an image from a specific external web link or choose one directly from our local device. In this case, we'll upload it from a link. And once that is done, that's it. And we click Save. Now we're going to add an appropriate title and a subtitle. As you can see, when we click, it already lets us write and automatically save the title and subtitle. So we'll put Handstand as the title and Masterclass as the subtitle again. And now, by simply clicking on the preview button, we're going to provide a detailed description for the course and validate it with AI. Once we have everything properly set up and ready, we click on Validate with AI and the course will be automatically approved and fully prepared to be included in any of the plans we create later. And if we notice something that needs to be changed, once the course is approved, that is exactly when the specific Edit Content button will appear on the dashboard, which is what will take us directly to the internal editing page of the brand new course that we have just finished creating. As you can see, it's completely unedited here. And going back to our courses, another thing I wanted to show you is that we can change the order in which they appear simply by moving and dragging them to the position where we want them to be, as you can see. And with this, we conclude the section on course editing within the NoSnake editor. And here before us, we have one of the most essential sections that you will find within the NoSnake editor, which is the plan configuration area. Before proceeding with its configuration, I'm going to carefully read through the instructions I've prepared on the page, so you can understand exactly how the entire system works. So let's go with the first one, which says the following. It is very important to note that the plans you create here will not be visible to your students until you activate your payment account. This means you have the absolute and total freedom to customize and refine your different plans within the editor, with the full confidence and complete peace of mind that they will not be visible to your students until you successfully set up and activate your Stripe account, which is where you will receive all of your payments. To put it another way, in order to better understand how it works, the process basically consists of two steps. First, in the section following the plan section, you will set up your personal Stripe account through a simple process, doing it directly through the NoSnake platform. And what does this mean? What this essentially means for you is that once Stripe automatically approves your account, NoSnake ensures that Stripe detects the specific plans you have created and seamlessly synchronizes them with its internal system. And then, automatically, the entire infrastructure you have customized to receive payments from your students becomes a reality. Then, continuing with the next sentence, which says, as soon as you activate payments, your plans are automatically synchronized, and your students will be able to view them and subscribe to them. It's essentially what I just explained to you. And as we move on to the next step, one important thing you should keep in mind is that once a payment plan is synchronized with Stripe, it will become immediately visible to your students and you will no longer be able to delete it. As you can clearly see from this screen, these test plans are already fully synchronized and therefore they cannot be deleted. The purpose of this restriction is to protect the exact conditions under which your students originally subscribed to that specific plan. Now, if you decide that you no longer want to offer a specific subscription plan to your customers, what you can do is archive it. What will then happen is that the plan will disappear from your Academy's main homepage. However, any students who were already subscribed to that plan will still retain their full access. That is, when you want a plan to no longer be available while there are still students currently subscribed, you will find that you are unable to delete it, but you can make it no longer visible if you want to replace it with an alternative one. As you can see, to archive the plans, you have to simply click on the Hide button, and right above the plans, you'll see that you have two distinct sections. The section for visible and active plans for anyone who visits your landing page, and the section for archived plans for those older legacy plans that still have students subscribed. If we take a closer look at the approved plans, you'll notice that the 3 test plans I created are already fully synchronized and have been officially activated. Otherwise, you will see a clear notice indicating that they are not, and that in order for them to be, it is necessary for you to first go ahead and set up an account to receive payments with Stripe in the next section. So, once this has been thoroughly explained, let us now proceed forward to create a brand new plan from scratch. In this specific case, we are going to create 2 distinct plans so you can clearly see the different types we can apply and combine together. So, just imagine for a moment that we want to renew these 3 specific test plans we have already created. Later on, since we already have several students subscribed to them and we absolutely cannot delete them, we are going to archive them instead by clicking right here on the Hide button. And to create the new plans, we click on the Create Plan button, and now we're going to start configuring it. We're going to start by setting up this first plan as a membership. Therefore, for the name, we're going to refer to it as Full Courses. First, we add a description. In this case, I already have one prepared to paste right in. If we continue to the next step, we need to set the price. For this example, I'm going to set a price of exactly 33 euros for this plan. And now we come to the most interesting part, which is choosing the billing period. And we can see that when creating a new membership, we can choose between monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual options. For this plan, we're going to set it as a monthly plan. But also keep in mind that we have the option to choose a one-time payment, which means that you pay just once and you'll get lifetime access, also known as full-time access. If we continue moving forward, we reach the specific section for all the included courses. where we simply have to manually select the courses we want to include in that particular plan. And you have to be careful, because if we select all the courses, it will include the masterclass, and as we've said, the masterclass is sold separately and is not part of the membership. So we choose to select courses and pick Muscle Up from Level and Handstand, which are the ones we want to be included in the membership. And finally, in the features section, we configure all the specific features we want the plan to have. I've prepared a few test ones that I'm going to paste here. Once those are added, the very last thing we need to do is decide whether we want this specific plan to be the popular one or not. In this case, we're going to mark it as yes. And now, the last thing we would have to do is click Save. And now that we have successfully finished creating our membership, we're going to create the one-time payment plan for the masterclass. So we will go ahead and click on the button labeled Create Plan, enter a name, which in this case will be Masterclass, provide a brief but helpful description for our users, and once that's done, we set the price, which in this case is exactly 11 euros. For the payment type, we now select one-time payment. And then, in the courses section, all that's left for us to do is to carefully select or choose the specific masterclass and add any additional features we think are appropriate for this offer. And finally, we just click Save and that's it. We would now have a combination of both available sales styles, the recurring membership model and the standard one-time payment model. And now, the very last section that we currently have left to see within the editor regarding customizing our landing page is the social media section. As you can see, here we have the various different social media networks available, and all we have to do is copy and paste the specific links that will redirect visitors from our landing page to our social media profiles in the corresponding fields. And if we go to the preview of our landing page, you will notice that the social media icons appear right at the end, just after the plan section. And as you can see, the different social media icons that we previously set up in the editor appear. And if we go back to the main editor, the only two important sections left to explain, which we will cover in our upcoming video tutorials, are the sections related to your dedicated payment account and custom domain. Setting up the payment account section will take you no more than 5 minutes of your time. As you can clearly see here, the account section is already active for us. However, the first time that you set it up, clear instructions on how to configure it step by step will appear right there in the section itself. You will only need to have two things ready: your ID card or identification, since Stripe will ask you to take a photo of it, both front and back, either with your phone or your webcam. And the second thing you'll be asked for is to take a selfie to verify your identity. Once your identity has been verified, all the plans you have set up will be automatically synchronized with Stripe, and you'll then be able to start receiving payments from students who subscribe to them. And if we move on to the last section, the custom domain section, as you can see, to set it up, we have a complete guide here called the DNS Setup Guide, in which I explain step by step how to create a subdomain and connect it to NoSnake, and it's very easy. You just have to paste the link to your subdomain here once you've created it, and automatically the NoSnake domain will stop appearing in the browser and yours will show up instead. And not only that, because another thing I wanted to show you is that, for example, this reference to NoSnake called Powered by NoSnake, which appears here on the landing page, will disappear. And the only thing that will remain will be references to your brand or academy, since this is one of the things that makes NoSnake stand out. In other words, NoSnake sacrifices its own branding so that all the spotlight is on you, the creators, and your brand. And now I'll leave you with our famous outro.
And that's it for today's tutorial. Stay tuned for the next ones. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and most importantly, the bell. Yeah!